Hey Super Theorist, Cindy here. And instead of WandaVision, we're going to be talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You know, the video I promised you on Monday, Tuesday, whenever I post it. I'm posting this right after it's being edited. Alright, so I'm gonna go over some of my favorite parts, some of the parts that I don't think it very much have been talked about, really. So here we go. One of those parts is, in fact, the plane scene, the plane plant scene that Bucky gets very pissed off at Sam for. See, this is the exact thing that Steve would do. Is jump on a plane, no parachute, even though technically speaking, Sam doesn't need a parachute because he's got his wings. But I think the thing that pissed Bucky off the most is the fact that Sam jumped off the plane, but they didn't really have a plan. At least they together didn't have a plan. And of course, when Sam says, "I have a plan," that must mean to Bucky, yep, this is definitely a repeat of Steve. Now, the girl we've constantly seen in the trailers, who we all first thought was Songbird, someone who could hypnotize people with their voice. I don't really know in the comics, I've just heard around. But she might be a member of the group Flag Smashers. Now, Flag Smashers actually is not actually a group. It's more of a name for one certain character. Typically, this character goes against Moon Knight, Punisher, the Ghost Rider, Runaways, Libertines, and Deadpool. And of course, because it wouldn't be in a Captain America TV series if he didn't, Captain America. Now, from my understanding, the Flag Smashers are about getting rid of the things that bind you, like your flags, and creating unity. That's not exactly a really big, really good thing, but beside the point. The next thing I want to point out is Sharon Carter's kick-assery. But also specifically, Sharon Carter, as she's coming up, she's pulling off something from her head. Now, it could be, simply like she's pulling off a hoodie, but it was more like she was pulling it from down here up over her head. That's not exactly how you do a hoodie. But what that did seem like was back in the Winter Soldier, Natasha had a special mask that she just had to hold right here, and that she just had to put on her face, and she looked like someone else. Maybe it's the same sort of cyber mask. It's the same sort of cyber mask that Sharon has. My question is, who could she have been disguising herself as, and why would she be still pointing her gun at Sam and Bucky? Now, the Black Widow movie, or at least a post-credit scene of the Black Widow movie, was supposed to tie into Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but that never came to be, so. But I'm still kind of curious on what could have been the hint to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, what would have been that? So, I guess we'll have to wait for Black Widow to either make it to Disney Plus or finally come out in theaters. I'm betting for Disney Plus, though. Now, I want to go back to the beginning of the trailer, where it's basically Sam and Bucky talking to this woman. And she's asking them, and she's basically couples therapying them. I mean, I know Bucky and Sam kind of hate each other, but I didn't think it'd go so far as they need couples therapy. For multiple reasons. And the thing is, this seems like the office seems pretty remote and dark. Like, this is not your typical couples therapy area. And it sure as heck wouldn't be something like from S.H.I.E.L.D. or even Swords, so I'm genuinely wondering what that could be from. And the stinger, of course, is them them literally staring at each other like for a staring contest sort of thing, trying to see which one of either of them would break first. Also, when we have another shot of Sam throwing the shield, we see Bucky basically catching the shield, like arm in, holding it, kind of catching the shield. Now, a lot of fans were actually expecting Bucky to get the shield. I mean, it's pretty obvious why he wasn't going to get the shield, but this is kind of like a nice nod to how they're going to basically fight with the fact that Bucky should also have the shield. Another thing is, it's not just Sam that's having to prove himself as Captain America, even as Captain America to the government, but also prove himself as something more than just the sidekick, the typical sidekick, which we see in the first trailer being mentioned, because it's not just the history of the shield that's complicated, it's Sam's own history that's complicated, and the fact that, especially now, Sam was given the shield directly from Steve himself. Steve chose his successor. The government isn't exactly going to be happy that Sam, a fugitive, got the shield. A fugitive, and also the fact that Sam is not the same as Steve in more ways than one. So Sam and Bucky are basically gonna have to grapple with that issue as the series progresses, most likely. And that's about all I can think about, or I can think of. What was your favorite moment from the trailer? What are your expectations for the series? Leave comments down below. Please comment, like, and subscribe for more. Catch ya on the flip side.